Hello and welcome to Talkin' Trades, a weekly podcast we talk about comics so you don't have to. I'm Jeremy, I'm a DC fan.
And I'm John, I'm a Marvel nut.
And I'm Matt, and did you know, and I've been waiting to use this one because this one's fun, Nicholas Coppola took his stage name from the Marvel comic book character Luke Cage. Nicholas Coppola, better known as Nicolas Cage.
I actually did hear that one. Nicholas, not the bees, Cage.
Not the bees. Not the bees!
Not the beads.
Beads? Are you saying beads?
But yes, Nicolas Cage. Off mic, Jeremy asked if it has to do with aliens, wizards, or I forget the third one.
Androids.
Androids. And like some could say, based on his acting, he could fit all three of those.
The real question, though.
He's an alien.
Nick Cage, good or bad?
Good. Good. I'm going to say good. Am I going to say perfect? No, absolutely not, because nobody's perfect. But you know what? The man has never given less than 100% of himself.
That
is very true.
That Community episode is top tier. Big fan of that episode on Community.
I think that Nicolas Cage deserves some of the flack he's gotten, but at no point can anyone say, man, oh man, I wish he'd try harder.
He never phones it in, you know?
And you know what? I like both of the National Treasure movies. I think those are both really fun movies.
Yeah. I definitely really... I don't remember the second one. I know I've seen it, but I just don't remember it. The first one, though, is a good film.
There's a great scene in the second one where he puts his hand into a rock thing and goes, oh my God, it's got me! No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Nicholas, you're so funny!
Look at you pulling mummy stuff.
Oh, man, Nicholas. You and your dad, John Voight, are so funny, but now we can't talk about John Voight because he's the worst. Oh, my dad's the worst. Oh. Anyway, we're not talking about Nicolas Cage and his acting. We are talking about fantastic acting and really good storytelling. That's right, everybody. We're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Half of the season has aired. Well, actually, more than half the season has aired by the time this comes out. But we are talking about the first half. And, gentlemen, I got to tell you, I watched it.
Oh, man.
Hey, I know. You did it.
I know. What do you guys think? John, I want you to talk last because I think you're going to talk the most feverishly and the most passionately about this. Matt, what did you think about the show so far? Just vibes.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the vibes. It's definitely significantly different than WandaVision, but I enjoy it. It's a fun show. It's a good show.
Yeah. Who is your favorite character so far of the show that we've seen?
Bucky. Right?
This is doing more for me for Bucky Barnes than anything else has done in the past as of yet. I've always known why John likes Bucky. I've always known he's a great character, but I finally feel like I'm getting it. I feel like it's doing it for me now, and I love it a whole lot. Now, John, why don't you talk about how this show makes you feel?
I mean, I feel great. It's really good. I am happy to be wrong. The reception of the show seems to be that people who are watching it love it. I don't think as many people are watching this as WandaVision, but the show is great. I love all the characters so far. I don't love John Walker, but he's a villain. I'm not supposed to like him. I get that.
Right.
It's great. I was curious where the show was going to go because they're pretty much caught up with Winter Soldier. As far as the comics, the MCU is pretty much caught up to the comics. It's pretty much kind of beyond that, and it's great. It's great. I don't know.
John Walker is such a well-written villain so far.
Yeah,
and he hasn't really gotten to villain status in the first 3 episodes.
In the first 3,
not the first 3 episodes. Nope.
Right. In the first 3 episodes, he hasn't gotten to full villain status, but they're setting him up so well, and they're making you want to not like him, but they're the best villains have a little bit of sympathy in them. The best villains, you're like, I see why they're doing what they're doing, and this is no exception. He's believable as a villain. He's believable as a former good guy, wanted to do the right thing, and I really like it. But let's get into the actual beats of the show. So this show takes place how long after Endgame? Do we know?
Very soon. I think it's or no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's after WandaVision.
Okay. But not after the Multiverse of Madness.
Correct. This is the I think for content that's been released, the closest thing to WandaVision.
Okay. So this show takes place after the blip, after all that good stuff, and people are living their lives. Falcon was given the shield by Cap at the end of Endgame, and in the beginning of the show, he gives it away to the U.S. government, who enshrine it and put it away to be displayed. This is not Bucky's not happy with this, but Bucky's off doing his own thing for a while. So while Sam is trying to live a life, he is off with his sister for a little while, trying to deal with what's been going on while he was gone. He is also trying to get his life in order. At the same time, Bucky is seeing a therapist and is making amends for everything. He's been given a full pardon. He has gotten the therapist. He's trying to rework himself, because for a long time he was a weapon, and for an even longer time, or for time after that, he was gone and he was isolated. So he really hasn't had time to process himself as a person from 1944 yet. He is very much an unknown commodity to himself. But he knows he's done horrible things, so he wants to try to make amends, and he's in the process of doing that. And that really characterizes him, honestly. Not that Sam is not well characterized, he is. But I knew what I was going to get with Sam. I knew that we were going to deal with some racial stuff, some superhero stuff, some military stuff, and I was really excited for that. I was looking forward to it. With Bucky, I was like, what are we going to be dealing with? And to deal with the mental health aspect of Bucky, I think was a phenomenal choice. It was a very bold choice, it was a very exciting choice, and I really like how it's been done so far. What do you guys think?
I absolutely agree. With the MCU and Bucky, you got him for 2-ish minutes in First Avenger, where we had control of all his faculties, and that was it. You saw him for bits and pieces in other movies where he really didn't get to breathe after the events of Winter Soldier, when he was starting to be more of himself again. So having a series where you have more time to develop these ancillary characters, I think it's excellent. I love the mental health route. I love the make amends route. It calls back to Civil War, where Tony asks if he remembers his parents. He said, "I remember everything." So now he has a list of names in the same book Steve was using to catch up on things he missed while on the ice. It's the same notebook.
Yeah.
And he has a list of names he's trying to make amends for, to try and make right with himself, which is also along his therapy. He has the rules he has to follow, can't hurt anyone, nothing illegal, etc. It's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Yeah. So that's really our idea for the show. And then as episode 1 goes on, we get some key scenes I think have been talked about quite a lot, but I want to make sure we touch on them. The biggest one being the bank loan scene. Sam goes to get a bank loan with his sister to try to save his childhood home and childhood boat that his parents had. His sister's using this boat as a means of making money and to live. She wants to sell it and sell the house to make money to make sure that her and her children can continue to survive. God forbid. And Sam is like, no, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. This is my boat too, this is my home too, I don't want that. Let's go get a loan from the bank. And she goes, we can try, but they're not going to give us a loan. He's like, yes, they are. I'm an Avenger. Of course they're going to give us a loan. And while they do recognize him as an Avenger, they also recognize him as somebody with no money for the last 5 years and no credit. So they do not give them a loan. Now, it is not explicitly stated in the show. However, the sister very much hints at, well, if we were white, we would have gotten the loan. And systematic racism is a very real thing, and it's nice to see it brought up in the Marvel Universe finally. Because we really haven't talked about it.
I was curious if Disney would go there, touch upon it, because the Sam Wilson Captain America comic book heavily deals with systemic racism, so much so one of the returning antagonists in that is the AmeriCops. So much so.
Yeah.
We're not getting that in this series, but I'm glad Disney isn't shying away from that part of Sam Wilson's history.
Yep. We also had the Serpent Squad, which is basically the Don't Tread on Me flag people, right?
The Serpent Society, I believe so. I know they're
Yeah,
all
they're-
named after different snakes, and that's their
They're all
main
named after different
thing,
snakes,
I
but like
think
they're definitely white supremacists. So we have that going on in the comics, and so I was hoping we'd get that, and I think Kevin Feige must. I mean, the man's been proven to be a genius, so he probably was like, we're going to do this, and Disney let him do it, and I love that. Now, will it continue? God, I hope so, because in episode 2 they talk about it as well, but I'll get there. So we get some racial stuff is brought up, we get some mental health stuff brought up, and already we're treading new ground for the MCU. The MCU's done a great job of addressing issues as they come up, but really, race has not been an issue that's been addressed in the MCU, so I'm very happy that it's being addressed. The show goes on for a little while for that first episode, and you see them both struggling with their own things. Sam with his sister, Bucky with his making amends. Bucky's biggest issue right now is he's actually with a man whose son he killed, and the man doesn't know how his son died. Bucky wants to apologize for that, but he's having a really hard time doing it. As you would. That's incredibly difficult.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's happening to Bucky, and the episode 1 ends with... So Sam had given up the shield and was like, I'm not going to be Cap. I told the government I'm not going to be Cap. They introduce a new Captain America, and he walks out with Cap's shield.
Yeah, when he gives up the shield, they have a beautiful ceremony dedicated to Steve and everything he stood for. And Sam gave it up under the impression that this is going to be kept in...
Belongs in a
Smithsonian.
museum.
Yeah, thank you, Indy. It was going to be kept in the Smithsonian, so people can see it and see everything that Captain America has done and everything he's given to the world. And of
Because
course,
without symbols, or symbols are great, but the people who back up the symbols are the real heroes. And Cap was one of those people.
yeah, Steve Rogers is, he's Steve Rogers. And of course, the government, as soon as they had the vibranium shield, the symbol of truth, justice, and the American way.
No, that's Superman.
That's Superman. Excuse me.
They're totally different. You're thinking of the Boy Scout who grew up in Middle America who just wanted to help people. Oh, no, wait, that's Superman. Oh, no, that's right. I'm right.
No, you're right.
Cap grew up in Brooklyn. My bad. Or
Yep,
Queens.
Cap grew up in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
But yeah, so then the guy who Sam gives the shield to turns around, and John Walker becomes the new Captain America, and he sees
Episode
it on
ends
TV.
with his grin on TV as the new Cap. Oh, I was so mad at this guy. And he hadn't even done anything yet. It was great. It was
A
great
lot of
characterization.
people have been mad at him. Some taking it a little too extreme.
Yeah, I hate when people attack the actor, man. Like the
he's
guy
an
is
actor.
like, back off.
Like you saw that
Relax.
happen with
Kelly
Laura
Marie
Bailey
Tran.
and
that
Kelly
too.
Marie Tran. Like Laura Bailey, I feel like is a more similar because she played Abby in The Last of Us, and
Part
spoiler
two.
alert for Last of Us Part
Part 2, yeah.
2, Abby kills Joel. If you
And
haven't
everyone
played the
was
game,
mad.
yeah, it happens like right in the beginning. If you haven't played the game, play it. It's great. You'll feel terrible after because it's The Last of Us.
But this idea that you can, I love the idea of hating a character and hating a well-written character. I
Yeah.
hate Cersei Lannister.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
But I don't hate Lena Headey. And I don't think anyone did hate Lena Headey. Here's the other thing, right? The reason people hated Laura Bailey is because I think, this is me just pulling this out of thin air, they assumed, one, that the character she was playing was trans. She wasn't, but even if she was, that's a bad reason to hate somebody. Two,
Yeah.
like, this is not what women look like. She's too beefy. It's like, dude, one, go to a gym and look at people. They can be beefy. It's like human physiology. Two, you're attacking somebody who's a real life person because of something you don't like in a game. If you hate Abby, hate Abby. If you hate John Walker, hate John Walker. If you hate Rose from Star Wars, fine. But stop attacking the people who play those characters.
Yeah.
When there are actual villains in the world, like Harvey Weinstein, who got away for so long, or the people who commit these atrocities all the time. Like, hate real people who do bad things. Stop hating actors who are doing a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah, Clearly, they're doing a good job because they're getting you to hate the characters that are supposed to be hated, except for Rose. Rose, I don't believe.
I don't get that.
Supposed to be.
I don't get that she got that. I mean, I do because America's a bad place to live, but I don't understand just from a 1,000-foot view why anyone hated Rose. Fine, you don't like the story. It's not Rose's fault. Whatever, people suck. Anyway, John Walker comes on screen. Collectively, the world hates him. Great. Episode 2 opens with John Walker, and he is incredibly sympathetic at first. He is nervous about being Cap. His girlfriend tells him, it's going to be okay, you're going to do a great job, I love you. Also, interesting to note, she's a person of color. That will come up. His best friend, another person of color, tells him he's going to do great, and don't worry about it, you're going to do awesome. And then he goes on Good Morning America as Captain America. He's introduced to Good Morning America as Captain America. And he does a very good job being eloquent. You know, he doesn't want to be Cap. He doesn't want to be Steve. He just wants to be the best that he can be. Mm. And Bucky hates it.
Yeah.
Did you notice the marching band version of Star Spangled Man being played during that?
Yep.
Star Spangled Man.
The musical number from First
Man
Avenger
with a plan.
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah, the marching band's playing a new version of that, and it's awesome. But the whole time, I'm just in my head, it's just like, how dare you stand where he stood?
How dare you stand?
Like that was just all I had going on in my head.
Yeah, that entire opening scene's very sympathetic for him. Because he's at his old high school. He's at his old stomping grounds with his best friend and his girlfriend, both of whom he knew from then. And he's going out on Good Morning America in front of the entire school, basically, and the entire world. Like, that's pressure, man. To do that, to go out in front of a huge crowd, to be the next Captain America, to fill the unfillable shoes of Steve Rogers. It's like, that's just pressure.
They also make sure to list his impressive military history.
Oh, absolutely. And
so it's not to let you know, it's not just like some dude they picked. Like he has a track record. Like he has a good record with the military.
He's not just the quarterback at BYU. He's like an actual military hero. He's not just some guy.
He is the most Chadish Chad to ever Chad.
100%.
Oh my god, yeah.
That doesn't help the situation.
No.
But,
So that's going on. That episode 2 opens with that. Then we get to Bucky and Falcon meet up, and Bucky's like, "Why'd you give away the shield? You're a bad person. Why'd you give away the shield?" And he's like, "I don't have time for this. You know, I gotta go do a thing. I gotta track these people down." Oh, also episode 1, totally forgot this part. He meets up with the future Falcon, Mr. Torres, who
Joaquin
he's
Torres.
great. He's great. He's working in the military. He's hunting down these people called the Flag Smashers.
Oh, right, the main plot.
Right, yeah, my bad. The Flag Smashers are people who believe that during the blip, everything was better because there was no continents, there was no boundaries, there was no anything. It was all one people, one world. So they should get back to that. They should go back to the one world government or one world ruling, because when people are divided, nothing gets done. And this, just like every other good supervillain or good villain, you see a kernel of truth. You're like, I understand why they're saying what they're saying. They're still doing it wrong. But they want people to be united, not divided, and I get that. It makes sense to me.
I cannot wait for you to see the 4th episode.
I'm going to probably watch it once we're done here. So, the second episode, Falcon has a lead to go after these guys. Torres gives him a lead. He's going to go after him. Bucky's like, I'm coming with you because, I don't like you right now. And they're great. They're definitely, they're secretly in love, and that's my headcanon, and I love it. They just don't know it yet. And they go off to, is it Latvia?
Latvia, yep.
Yeah, Latvia? Eastern Europe, yes. For sure. And they go out there, and they're looking to track down the Flag Smashers. And they wouldn't you know it, they find the Flag Smashers. And they infiltrate them as they're driving away on their trucks full of stuff. And there's a hostage on one of the trucks. Cool, let's go get that hostage. So Bucky jumps on, and in the best scene of the entire show, he goes, "Oh, hey, I found the hostage. Hey, I'm here to help you." And the hostage smiles at him. Not a hostage. It's a guard. The guard has like super soldier strength because these Flag Smasher people have super soldier strength, and punches him back out of one truck into another truck, and he's like, oh, and he swears. And I loved it. He goes, it's not a hostage. It's not a hostage. And it made me laugh like out loud while I was watching it today at work. Like, this is great. Bucky is so great. And I finally see why John loves him so much. He's such an interesting character. And this is going on with... So they fight, and they're trying to get the super soldier serum or some kind of whatever they have. And out of nowhere comes John F. Walker, Captain America, and... Battlestar? What a dumb name. Is he a comic guy?
Who else thinks that's a dumb name? Bucky.
Yeah.
He's a dumb name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the comics.
He's dumb. So Walker and Battlestar help save Bucky and Falcon from dying. But in doing so, they lose the fight and the bad guys get away. The Flag Smashers get away. The new Cap and Battlestar are like, hey, why don't you come walk with us or get in our car, we'll drive you to the airport and we can talk about this. I know you don't like me. I know you think that this is all wrong of me to be Cap. I don't want to be Steve. I just want to help. And Bucky doesn't buy it. Falcon's like, I don't know. Like, I'm listening. And he goes, I could really use you. I need Steve's wingman to help me do this. And Falcon's like, yep, there it is. I'm out. Peace. They both peace out. They don't trust this guy.
I also love how... Bucky's like, I'm sorry, what's your name? Battlestar. Goes, and he's just like, I don't know why, but that's it. Stop the car. I'm done.
It's great. So, reaching a dead end, Bucky and... Oh, no, not quite yet. So, Bucky's like, all right, we got to go see this guy. I think he might be able to help us back in America. Falcon's like, okay. So, they go see this guy. And this guy's name, Isaiah, is it Walker? No, Isaiah... Thomas?
No, I will get that in a second.
Please, yeah. So Isaiah is this guy. We don't know who he is yet, but we find out that he is a black super soldier. He was put in the super soldier program after Steve as a test subject, and he was in the comics. He's one of the only people to survive.
Isaiah
the original
Bradley.
one. Isaiah Bradley. Thank you. So Isaiah Bradley is a man who's living in America in a very rundown neighborhood, and we find out that after the government tested on him and made him into a super weapon, essentially, rather than giving him the accolades and love they gave Steve, because he is a man of color, they put him in jail. And in jail, they continued to run tests and experiments on him that physically injured him. So he's had a horrible life, and he's hated everything. So when Bucky and Falcon come to talk to him, Bucky gets to talk to him by saying, hey, I beat you up in Korea. Remember that? And the guy's like, yeah, no, I just wanted to see if it was actually you. It's you. I hate you, and I hope you die.
Well, actually,
and also,
when they first arrived, they're stopped by his nephew. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, man, there's no one here. Isaiah doesn't live here anymore. And he's like, no, he lives here. Tell him the guy from the bar in, I forget where, Malaysia, maybe?
It's a name of a city or a town or a province. I don't know.
Yeah, it's here. He'll know what that means. He goes, all right. And he goes off, and then they're able to talk. And that child apparently becomes Patriot, who is like the new Avengers Captain America.
The nephew does, right?
Yeah, which is neat.
So in the comics, Isaiah was, like I said, he was an original survivor of the super soldier serum, and the government did try to kill him. They didn't want him around after it was over, but he survived, and he did become Captain America very briefly in the comics. Something of note. Very cool. So Isaiah talks with Falcon and Bucky for a while, and he's not buying what they're selling. He doesn't like them. Rather than talking to them more, he tells them to get out, does a very brief show of strength by throwing something into a wall. They leave, and Falcon's like, why didn't you tell me that this guy exists? Why does no one know? This is ridiculous. This is horrible. And they're fighting in the street, or arguing in the street, and cops roll up. And they immediately start questioning and talking to Sam because he's black. They want his ID. They want to know what he's doing. They want to know if he's bothering you, sir. They talk to Bucky. But realistically, he's done nothing different than Bucky. He's just black. Mm-hmm. So he was, walking while black. Oh, there's also a great scene in this little bit where he's walking by a kid, and the kid goes, "Oh my God, you're Black Falcon." He goes, "No, it's just Falcon. My name is Falcon." And he goes, "No, that's not what my dad said. He says you're Black Falcon." He goes, "Oh, why? Is that because I'm black?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, so then you must be Black Kid." And the kid doesn't say anything, and Falcon starts laughing. He goes, "I got you." I thought that was absolutely fantastic. It's such a good characterization for Sam. He's so... Oh my God, he's fun.
Like, I love that they get to play up his personality more in this series. But also, you could see how that personality would also kind of clash with his sister. Like, no, we're keeping this boat. Like, it all feels very natural and real, and I love
Anthony
it.
Mackie is just a really good actor.
He's very talented.
He's really funny, man. The whole scene in episode 2 that we're getting to with the psychologist absolutely rocked me. It was so good.
I think that's my favorite scene so far.
So we'll get to there. So they have this little fight, and the cop's like, "Hey, man, you're coming downtown." Like, and the other cop goes, "Don't you know who this is?" Like, "Oh, wait, you're an Avenger, right?" And then they like, "Hold on one second." And then they run Bucky's name, and Bucky has an outstanding warrant. And Falcon's like, don't you know that he's not, like, they pardoned him. He goes, no, it's not for that. He missed his court-appointed therapist session, which is essentially like missing a parole officer visit. That's illegal. You can't do that. So I'm sorry, Mr. Barnes, you have to come downtown with us. They take him downtown, they arrest him, and when they're arresting him, they are doing, they're gonna, what's it called? They're gonna take him for questioning, all this stuff, yada yada. They get bailed out by the therapist and John Walker. John Walker's like, "Hey, I got you because I'm Captain America." And it's really smug. And we're starting to kind of see him turn at this point, and I hate him. And they're in jail, and the therapist's like, "That's fine. Here's the deal. The only reason you're not allowed out of here is you have to come to a therapy session. You too, Sam." And Sam's like, "No, I'm good." She goes, "Oh, no, I wasn't asking." So she brings them in and does therapy with them. And John, I want you to talk about this because it's so funny.
It's great. She decides that they need to try couples therapy, basically, because no one's talking. A running joke so far in the series is that Bucky will just stare at things and just stare at you and not really talk.
Oh yeah, like John Walker's like, "Does he just?" Or Battlestar's like, "Does he just stare?" And he goes, "Yeah, he does that."
So she says, "Okay, we're gonna do what we try in couples therapy, which is sit real close to each other, and there's a lot of back and forth about just sitting close." Because they basically got to put their knees in between each other to get super close.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious. Staring at each other's eyes. And Sam's like, "Oh, you're going to love this one." And he's like, "Yeah, I do. It's my favorite game." He doesn't say that, but, like, it'd be great.
It's really
and
good.
This is really, I mean, I cried. I don't know who else cried, but I cried. The scene is great. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It's amazing.
It's sad.
Yeah. So they get into, like, why Sam gave up the shield. And he's like, Bucky's like, "Listen, Steve gave you the shield. He gave you the shield. If Steve was wrong about you, then Steve was definitely wrong about me."
Well, no, he says he gave you the shield and you gave it up. Maybe you're not worthy.
Yeah.
Maybe he was. Maybe he was wrong about you. And if he's wrong about you, and so Sam's like, "Why does that bother you so much? If he was wrong about me?" And Bucky says, "Because if he was wrong about you, he might have been wrong about me." And I'm not crying. You're crying. And it's really sweet. And he's opening up and he's talking about his feelings.
And it's great. I love it. I want to see more of it. And Sam just like, and I totally respect this as well. He's like, "Can you at least understand that I did what I believe to be right? Like, I'm trying."
Yeah, he hasn't talked about it yet, but I have to believe that Falcon is aware that the world is not ready for a black Captain America. And I'm sure he's thinking about that. Even though he doesn't, the bank loan thing, like he thought he'd get the bank loan and all that. I think that he's aware of racial prejudice and things like that because he is a man of color and that it's just a thing that exists. I'm wondering if that will be the thing that he talks about when he comes to, he'll eventually say, "The world's not ready for a black cap. That's part of the reason why I gave the shield back." Or, "I was scared. I didn't want to be the first black cap." I think that might come up. The discussion of race might come up again. I hope it does, because I think it's very important to have that discussion.
I agree.
So the therapy session ends. They're on the same page for now. They will absolutely come together more later because that's just what they do. This is what you do in these kind of shows. And they go outside, they leave the police station, they go talk to John Walker. And he's like, "Hey, so here's the deal. We can help. We can work together." And Bucky and Falcon don't want to do that. So they're like, here's the thing, man. Even if we want to work with you, like, we can't. Like, you have rules of engagement. You have all these rules and government rules you have to follow. We don't. So we're going to stay with what we do because we can go off the grid. John Walker's like, "Fine, then stay out of my way." And I'm just like, I hate you. I hate you so much. And that episode ends with them going to their next lead, Baron Zemo. Dude, when I tell you how nervous I was, because I haven't seen the show at this point. I was like, they didn't recast Zemo, right? Because they don't show you his face at the end of the episode. Like, they didn't recast Zemo, right?
Oh,
it's
no,
still
they announced
Daniel Brühl. It's still Daniel Brühl.
Yeah, they announced he was returning very early.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it doesn't matter. I've seen it now. But I was like, uh oh. So I immediately started the third episode, and then I see Daniel Brühl's face. I'm like, oh, thank God. I love Daniel Brühl so much. He's such a good actor. So this episode is them going after Daniel Brühl, and they go there, and they're like, hey, we gotta talk to you. At the same time, the Flag Smasher people have been kind of skirting by people and hiding and staying off the grid. But they've run across a guy named the Power Broker, who we haven't met yet. As far as episode 3 goes, we have not met him. And as far as
we
episode
haven't met
3.
him in 4 either.
Okay, cool. So we don't know what the guy's deal is, but we know that these Flag Smasher people have a big following. People like the Flag Smashers. They agree with them. They want them to help. Because the Flag Smashers are essentially working against another group of people called the RPC. And the RPC is
They're trying to deal with the world and getting it back the way it was, but by their way, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Repatriation? I'll figure it out.
Yes, please. A global repatriation center or something like that. Their job, yes, but they're, as everything else in the world is, incredibly underfunded. So they don't have the resources to rehome people, to give people their jobs back, all this stuff. So people are living in like these, not internment camps, but they're living in like tent cities and things like. It's not good. So the Flag Smashers are like, this is why governments don't work. We need to start over. We're destroying these centers. We're going to help people for real. We're sick of this. But Cap is working with that group of people. So one of these groups of people goes to where they last saw a housing area where they last saw the Flag Smashers. And they go in and they start ripping things apart. And John Walker goes kind of crazy here, which is foreshadowing to episode 4. Where he's like, tell me where they are. Don't you know who I am? And the guy spits in his face. Like, don't you know who I am? And he goes, yeah, but I don't care. And you can tell he's like on the edge. And it's good. This is good characterization. But that's all we really see of John Walker in this particular episode. Because the rest of the episode is dealing with the two boys and Baron Zemo going for a little road trip. They break Baron Zemo out of jail in a really cool way that involves a lot of thought and planning, and I really like it. And there's actually a chess game happening during some of the describing the plan, and I like that little visualization. They break him out, and he's like, we can use my private jet. And Buck is like, wait. When did you get rich? He's like, I've always been rich. I was a baron. So now we have him. He's fully Baron Zemo, which is so sick. And he's wearing his like comic accurate cloak jacket with the fur lining on the neck. It's very cool. And so they get on a private jet, and they go to Madripoor.
Which I am shocked.
Right?
I am shocked for going to Madripoor.
For those who don't know, John, what's Madripoor in the comic?
Madripoor in the comics is, so in the comics it's nowhere near as nice.
No,
it's
not.
In the series. Madripoor in the comics is basically a city of villains. There are no laws. Walking outside is like seriously taking your life in jeopardy. Like it's not a safe place because it's where all the villains
not a fun little underground place.
No one dares to go to Madripoor because it's where all the villains live.
And it was prominently featured in the X-Men. Well, you know how I reacted.
Was it poorly? Did you not like it?
I was thrilled, but at the same time, I was like, I am ready to be hurt again.
It's because the show makes it look kind of like, to be honest, like cyberpunk.
Yeah,
right.
It is a very cyberpunk look to it.
Yeah, and the comics, that is not the case.
No, it is not. But
and
they go
going off of Madripoor. So Marvel, the MCU opened up afterwards a Madripoor website, just a website completely dedicated to Madripoor. And, well, comic book fans are comic book fans. We're going to search high and low for any little tidbit of information. So they had to go and scrub all the X-Men references and Easter eggs. So either A, they're hiding something, or 2, they just want to distance themselves from the X-Men. Hoping for the first one.
I'm thinking the
You're
second
right,
one
it's
until they have
Mephisto.
a guaranteed play. It's Mephisto.
Everything is Mephisto. This entire series is just a fever dream for Mephisto.
So, okay, so they go to Madripoor, and Madripoor, as great as it is, a lot of it can be kind of run through quickly. And I think it's more visual than it is described. So it's worth watching. So definitely watch it if you haven't already.
Yeah, you get the best dancing scene in film.
And it's only like half a second long.
And it's half a second.
But there is a
it's the
6-hour
best.
cut, and they've released it.
Let's go.
So, release a Zemo cut. Restore the Zemoverse. So, they go to Madripoor to try to find criminals to help them learn about the super soldier serum. And they do so by going undercover. Winter Soldier becomes the Winter Soldier again. Zemo is Zemo. And the Falcon becomes Smiling Tiger?
Yeah, something like that.
Smiling Tiger. They use these aliases and some really intense fighting by Bucky to meet up with a woman who has a lot of information. This woman gives them a name of a doctor, and the doctor is the one who may have made the serum, but she won't tell them where the doctor is. Well, that's when some stuff goes down. Sam's phone rings. He's forced to answer it. It's his sister, which totally blows his cover. Yes, blows his cover. Before they can be fully attacked, you see that the lady who's attacking them is shot. All the bad guys are shot. They run away, and the bad guys chasing them get shot. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? Who's saving them? Who's this guardian angel? It's everyone's least favorite Carter, Sharon Carter.
I'm like, it's I don't know where he's going. Is it Sharon? Is it Aaron? Who's to say?
I'm going Aaron personally.
Aaron is never going to be on the least favorite of anything.
I'm a Nick Carter guy myself.
That's great, but you think Aaron is better than
On the right side of
Sharon?
history, Matt.
I mean, yeah. I'm a BSB guy, you know.
No, I'm sorry. You think Sharon is better than Aaron? Because Sharon sucks.
I like her.
I like her better in this. I really hated the love story that they tried to write in with her and Cap.
I never like when the same person goes for person and their offspring. It just never.
Yeah, that
creepy.
was weird.
I just don't like it. Period.
It's crazy.
It
made more sense in the comics.
And like granted it's niece, not offspring. Like, but
It's
like
still weird,
It's not.
right? It's still
not
like
great.
a relative.
Oh yeah, it's still very weird. It's still very weird.
It was less weird in the comics, that's for sure. And they were doing it because it was in the comics, and it's whatever. Anyway, Sharon is their savior. And Sharon talks about how she's made a life here because she was basically tossed out of America. And if she ever goes back, she's going right to jail because she stole Cap's shield in
Civil War.
Yeah.
So she's on the run. So Sam's like, hey, can you help us find this doctor? She's like, I don't know. I'm selling like really expensive paintings here, and I don't know if I want to blow that. Like, I like what I'm doing here. And he's like, tell you what, if you help us, I will get you a pardon and you can come back to America. She's like, okay.
I read that as more of cool. I can't go to America, so like,
Right. And she didn't want to just do whatever because of charity, because she doesn't trust charity. She doesn't trust anybody. Her government, who she worked for, screwed her over.
to which I also say that like if you live in Madripoor for like the 5 years of the blip plus everything after Civil War, you're gonna come out a changed person. Period.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally bought that.
Her characterization there made perfect sense. And she still isn't fully evil. She's just an opportunist at this point, and I don't blame her. I would be too. So she says, fine, I'll help you if you get me that pardon so I can come back. He's like, yep, no problem. So she hunts down the doctor. She tells them where the doctor is. They go see the doctor, and he's like, yes, I did the thing. But then the lady who runs the Flag Smashers stole the thing from me. And they're like, oh, the thing, the super soldier serum. Well, have you talked to her recently? I have, but I don't know where she is.
Not my pig, not my farm. Which is like, what a phrase.
Right? Wherever she is, she's not here. And Zemo's like, bang, and he shoots him.
Yep, kills him dead.
Kills him dead. They are come upon by people trying to hunt them down because there's a bounty of like 20,000 Bitcoin, which is like millions of dollars, on their heads. And she's like, all right, you got to go. You got to go now. So Zemo and them get out of there and run off, and they leave Madripoor. And honestly, I just finished watching this, but I'm kind of hazy on what happens after that.
Yeah, see, and I forgot how
Right?
this episode ended because so much happens in 4.
Yeah, 4 is
like,
big.
man, let's go.
Yeah.
So after they escape, Sharon's like, oh man, What a crazy situation. She gets in her car and she leaves. We then see the woman who is running the Flag Smashers, whose name is
Carly Morgenthau.
Carly Morgenthau. Is she a comic character? I don't remember her from the comics.
I think Carl Morgenthau was a character.
Okay. So Carly Morgenthau is the runner of the Flag Smashers, and she seems like a pretty cool person. She's doing things for the right reasons in her mind, and she's going about it the wrong way, but honestly, she doesn't seem like she's doing bad things, but she doesn't seem like a super villain. And, we see some of the camps where people are staying, and it's not good. And she wants to help those people. So they're going to go on a raid tonight. And they go raid an area that has supplies. Whatever that group is, the people who are running the rehoming of people after the blip.
Yeah, I couldn't find it quickly.
That's fine. That's okay. They go there and they tie up a guy and he's like, you guys are the worst, you Flag Smashers. She goes, do you know what we're doing for people and what you're not doing for people? We're trying to help. You guys are not helping. He's like, whatever. You're gonna blah, 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 blah. Speech about stuff. She's like, okay. And she leaves him. And she gets in the car with her right-hand man, who is has been with her since the beginning. A lot of her friends have died, and she's kind of starting to become bitter and cold. So bitter and cold, in fact, that she blows up the place where the supplies were. And that place was like an apartment building where people are living. And he goes, there were people in there. And she says, it's the only language they understand. And the episode ends. What a dark little turn. What a good show, man. I cannot wait to see the next 3 episodes.
This show very much has the tone of the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it does.
It very much has that very grounded, very real tone.
Yeah,
but it still throws comedy in every once in a while, so it's not depressing, dark. Yeah, especially with how
Winter Soldier also has Aaron, so there's comedy there too. Don't try and tell me there's no comedy in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Aaron.
I have been.
Yeah,
Aaron.
the guy at the Mac store.
Yes,
Aaron.
Yes, Noob Master 69. That's right.
The very same.
The very same. Yeah, it's a good show. I'm really enjoying it. I knew I was gonna like it. It's hard to not like a Marvel thing. They're all very good.
Do you think the Power Broker is going to be a character already established in the MCU or a new character?
A new character. The Power Broker in the comics is his own character. I think it'll just be a new character.
Yeah, I do too. I can't.
The Power Broker is a villain named the Power Broker. I think they're gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I can't really think of a character that would fill those shoes.
I have 2 ideas. One was from my own head, and the other one was from the internet, and I would love to see it happen.
Okay. What is the one from your head first?
Sharon.
Ooh.
Every character who mentions the Power Broker never mentions them gendered, period.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe they still know who they are. Also, in episode 4, there's a couple scenes with Sharon where
hold on, we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet, but there are things happening where you're like, okay, well that would make more sense. More so it's background stuff. Doesn't have anything to do with what's actually being said, just background stuff. And then Sharon, episode 4, does mention Power Broker, mentions he, but she's the only one to do so. So that could be to throw them off the scent. The other bit of foreshadowing is when they got to Madripoor, Sam says, okay, so you don't have any friends in Hightown. And then Sharon comes in and says, oh yeah, I have a partner in Hightown. You'll be safe there. So there'd be some nice foreshadowing for that as well.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's something I hadn't seen online, which I'm pretty proud of. I'm very ready to be wrong about that.
Yeah. No, that's but the idea isn't insane.
It's way more grounded than half the things I heard about WandaVision.
Right, exactly. It's grounded. It's not like it's oh, it's going to be
Mephisto, John.
But Mephisto could be
It's all
it.
Mephisto.
Could be Mephisto. You never know. What's the internet theory?
I know it's I just saw a tweet, but one Justin Hammer.
Ooh,
that would be interesting as well.
Wouldn't that be
he's still
awesome?
alive? Yeah, that would be interesting. Right. No. See, I have who it really is. If they're doing let's just say they're doing a pre-established character, it's going to be Ben Kingsley's character from Iron Man 3.
Trevor Slattery himself.
That's who it's going to
be. All hail the king, man.
That'd be hilarious, actually. Every kingdom needs king.
Also in that.
That'd be funny.
Justin Hammer. Just saying.
No, I really do think they're going to go with the Power Broker from the comics. I don't think they're going to introduce this as a previously established character. I think they're going to go with an old one, with the original, because I think they're going to make this a tertiary villain that they could use again later. Because Power Broker's run up against like Luke Cage and stuff like that, and you could do that if you ever wanted to bring him back. Or he could run up against everybody. Like the Power Broker's great because he's so simple and could be used a lot over and over again.
I think they're going to switch it up because first of all, you've seen it because in Captain America or Sam Wilson Captain America, you have Flag Smasher, and now you have the Flag Smashers. So like they're already fine with changing things up.
Oh sure.
Right.
Secondly,
I mean the Mandarin, like they've done it. Like they don't.
But we're getting actual factual Mandarin this year, I think.
That's stupid.
Because Shang-Chi is happening, and he's in it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, actual factual Mandarin's happening.
And
But
it'll still be Ben Kingsley.
God, I would love it, but it's not.
That's
It's
also
not,
super
because-
racist.
So love it. The other...
They're going to whitewash
Especially not
another
actors.
character.
Nah, they gotta stop. They have to stop.
Right? Yeah.
Would we not have seen a new... Like, if it was a new villain, would they not have been in the show before episode 5?
Not necessarily.
Like, that's why I think it's someone
especially not if
already
it's like,
established.
not necessarily, especially if it's like a no-name actor playing him.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they're never going to reveal the Power Broker's face in this show and they're going to bring him back for another show. Like, he's such a generic villain in the comics that he could be used for a lot of people. And maybe it would be like Claw from Gadget, where they never reveal his face. Who knows? Until they want to. I don't know.
And that's because it's so generic. That's why I'd love to see them, and I think they will use an already established character as them.
Yep, I guess we'll see.
Power Broker.
We will see. It's very interesting and it's exciting, and I'm just excited to see more of the show. Honestly, they can do whatever they want. I just am excited to see more of the show. So, episodes 1 through 3, I think that episode 1 was good. I think that episode 2 was great, and I think episode 3 is phenomenal. What do you guys think?
I would agree.
You gotta make some room on that scale for episode 4.
Well, yes, there's above phenomenal. There's above the above phenomenal would be astounding or otherworldly.
We also accept the use of Patty Jenkins as above a phenomenal.
Oh yes, of course. That's angelic. All I know is I want to talk more about the big 3: androids, aliens, and wizards. And I loved the Gandalf joke in episode 2.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
That was great.
Matt, what do you think about the show? And why do you love it?
It's very entertaining. I like that they touched on, these important topics that are very prominent in society today with both mental health and race, while still keeping it a Marvel show. I think you were right. I think we're gonna get Falcon saying something about how he's, he doesn't want to be, the world's not ready for a black Captain America, and stuff like that. I imagine we'll see some more of Bucky opening up to Falcon because despite when they left their group therapy saying, oh, I'm never going to work with you again after this, like they're going to become best friends.
We know how the genre of buddy cop goes.
Yeah, we know how it goes. They're going to become best friends, and I think he's going to have this opening up scene with Falcon, and I'm excited to see what Zemo does. I feel like he's very much a wild card in this show where he can do just about anything, and I think it'll take you off guard. And I think that's brilliant to have a character like that, somebody who you can always who's when they're on the screen. Exactly. When they're on screen, you have to be on your toes because you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to help the guys? Is he going to start working his way to escape?
Yeah, right?
It's very interesting. John Walker growing into the U.S. agent, turning full bad, I think is going to be... we've already seen it slowly begin. I think it's a very well-written way, like you said, as it's kind of almost a fall from grace for John Walker.
Yes.
And like I said, a lot of it is because it's just pressure, man. That pressure it gets to you. You're like, you want to do the best you can. You start doing what you feel is the best you can, and then you keep going, and the best you can suddenly becomes bad.
It's almost like we put too much pressure on people to do everything they can and then never ask for help and never admit that it's okay to have difficulty. Man.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine?
Couple things I just want to mention. There's a really cool action sequence at the beginning of the series that brings back Batroc the Leaper from Winter Soldier, which was not necessary, but I was here for it.
And it's still George St. Pierre.
It's still George St. Pierre. I hope he choreographed it. He choreographed that fight scene, and it was amazing. In Winter Soldier.
I think he did. He looks, from what the behind the scenes stuff from Winter Soldier, he looks like he has too much fun doing this stuff.
And that's a character I never expected to see again, but here we are.
And then he leaps multiple times.
Yeah,
he's not only Batroc the Leaper, Batroc the Leaping.
Stupid villain, but he's not stupid in the MCU. I love it. Great. I love it. There's probably other things, but we also didn't mention the Dora Milaje.
Yeah, I did.
Ms.
No, I didn't. You're right. Holy cow, you're right.
Or Ao?
Yes, it ends. The third episode ends also with the Dora Milaje. Yes, that's right. That's how the third episode ends. They go off to Baron Zemo's going off to somewhere, and Bucky starts finding these little beads, the little beads from the bracelets of the Dora Milaje and of the Black Panther, and he tracks it back to Ion. He's like, "I'm here for Zemo."
Mm-hmm. 8 hours. I liked that. I liked when there was at a point where Falcon is like, so what are you because Bucky was trying to be sneaky, and he asked him if he was the White Panther, and Bucky goes, White Wolf, actually, and I was like, I like that name.
Yeah. He's like, what are you, White Panther? White Wolf, actually. Wait,
there are two characters in pop culture, both with the nickname White Wolf, that I'm a big fan of. Bucky is half of them.
Yep. Great show,
That's
man.
just math.
What a show. What a show. If you have seen Falcon Winter Soldier and you liked it, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. We've already heard from one of our fans, so I believe that someone owes somebody a shout-out.
Yes. So consider this like a preview of a preview of a preview of what the world will be like when the Talkin' Trades Patreon comes up. So
side note, I do love tempering expectations, just a heads.
Yeah, me too. Because this is exactly what it's gonna do. If you've listened to any podcast where they have a Patreon, it's not an exciting thing, but more the build-up, I'll say, is
it's exciting for us.
So DC had a list of, I think, 16 different stories.
Yeah, it was 8 and 8.
That the fans can vote on. The one that wins gets made, hopefully first, because I hope all these stories get made. And there is one story on there that is a comic story that we all need. Unfortunately, it lost to the story that I want people to vote for. So I posted on Twitter, anybody who votes for the story Robins, which synopsis is Batman disappeared, the Robins have to investigate, written by a man who I've had sign 2 books, Tim Seeley, which I've been wanting Tim Seeley to get his hands on Dick again, you know?
I hear you.
It just feels right. And I posted on Twitter saying, hey, if you vote for this, I'll give you a shout out. Our friend Katie, friend of the show, you might know her from the Pop-Tart Chronicles of it took like 2 years for us to give her. Yeah, Pop-Tart Gate.
I am sorry, Katie. It's my fault.
2 years to get her some Pop-Tarts. But I told her I'd give her a shout out. She didn't believe me. Shout out, Katie. Believe it. Vote for Robins. Or vote for any of the other stories. I know there's a Zatanna story. There's a Superman and Lois story. Suicide Squad one.
I saw there was a Green Lanterns story.
Green Lanterns. There's a Lobo. I'm a little sad, though, that Robins got past the first round, because said book that I said that is the book that we need right now was called JLQ, which is a Justice League entirely consisted of characters from, as you guys put it, the Alphabet Mafia.
Oh my God, that would be great. Is it Justice League Queer?
It's yeah.
What a good idea that is.
I feel like DC shouldn't have put them in there. That should already be something that you're making.
I mean, maybe they're gonna. You know what would be funny is at the end of this, if they go, "Just kidding, we're doing all these stories."
I imagine they're gonna do all of those stories. Like they have to.
You don't say who's writing it. like that. Like, you don't. That's people's money and jobs on the line.
Yeah. And I feel like with JLQ, I felt like
such a good
like
idea.
that one, that was the only one that was close, was JLQ and Robbins.
I thought you were gonna say it was Justice League QAnon, and they were gonna take down QAnon, which would have been hilarious. But I like Justice
DC,
League. I like Justice League Queer much better.
DC, I have an idea for your next story.
Trademark Jeremy.
But yeah.
But anyway.
Otherwise, it's been fun to follow, to see how people vote. I'm pretty sure the next next story for the Robins to take on is Zatanna, and that one's going to be tough. She's a big deal.
She's great.
But Dick and Company is where my heart is.
Matt is a big fan of Dick Grayson.
If you haven't noticed, like we had an episode where I literally just talked about Dick.
It is well documented.
Yep.
It's well documented.
The whole episode was about Dick.
But yeah,
so anyway,
shout out Katie.
And shout out Katie. Thanks, Katie, for being a fan and for being a friend. We missed you.
Appreciate you. Love you. Miss you.
Big hug. If you want to get a shout out from Talking Trades, just message one of us and we will shout you out because we love you. And we hope that you all stick with us. It's great. Make sure you let us know what you thought about Falcon and Winter Soldier and tell us if you liked it, if you hated it. But if you hate it, maybe I don't like you. And stay safe, everyone, and remember that you're loved. Bye!
You can follow us on Twitter at Talkin' Trades. Follow Jeremy on Twitter at LizardKing27. You can find John on Twitter at Maesterlaka, Maesterlaka. And for this and other projects from Matt, please check out Facebook at Matt Spina Music. And remember, we're not experts, we're fans.